Hi guys, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me for tonight's bedtime stretch. Tonight is a 15-minute full body stretch routine. It's going to be relaxing and lengthening. You're not going to need anything apart from a mat and an optional band to use to stretch the hamstrings. I'm using a booty band. You can also use a long flat resistance band, whatever works best for you. And if you don't have anything, you can just use your hands for the stretch. So I'm going to place that off to the side. We don't need it just yet. And from here, we're just going to move into a kneeling position facing the end of the mat. So I'd like you to just back right up so you've got enough space in front of you. We're going to lift and lengthen up through the fingertips. Inhale. And as we exhale, we're just going to cactus the arms down, drawing the shoulder blades together and opening through the chest. So lift and lengthen. Reach for the ceiling, and then exhale, pull your elbows down, drawing your upper back muscles together and opening through the chest. Now each time you pull down, I want you to grow taller up through the crown of your head, melting away tension in the shoulders and really opening up through that chest. Inhale deeply in through the nose and breathe all the air out of the lungs as you exhale. We've got 3 and 2. Last one, I'd like you to lift, lengthen, reaching for the ceiling, and then twist over to the right side, bringing the right fingertips down to the floor, looking out over right shoulder, left fingertips rest on the knee. Inhale, lift, and exhale, let's take it to the other side. Really stretching through that neck as you look over your back shoulder. Inhale up and exhale, rotating to the right. Good, lift and over to the left. Getting a nice rotation in the spine. 2 more. Really wringing the air out of your lungs as you twist. And last one. And back to center, arms come up. And then I'd like you to just gently bring the hands down on the mat. Slide the hands forward as you elevate the hips. Big toes come together, knees are wide. Soften your forehead down to the mat, stretching and lengthening through your tailbone. In this modified variation of child's pose, with the hips elevated here, we can really lengthen out through that tailbone, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Nicely done. Now plant your palms into the mat about shoulder distance apart. Bring your knees into a parallel position, hip distance apart. Curl your toes. Deep inhale here. And exhale, lift hips up toward the ceiling. Coming into downward dog. Lifting through that tailbone, flattening out the upper back. And we're just going to lift the heels and lower the heels, stretching the backs of the legs. Lift the heels and lower. You can bend the knees if that's more comfortable for you, if that allows you to lift your hips a little higher. Breathing in through the nose as we lift and out through the mouth as we lower. Let's take 3. Pressing heels down toward the floor as far as they can go for 2. And last one, lift those hips a little higher. Let your head hang between your shoulders. And from here, I'd like you to step your right foot between your hands, pressing your fingertips down onto the floor and gently lowering your left knee onto the mat, flattening left foot, elevating up, taking your hands interlaced on your right thigh and coming into a hip flexor stretch on this left side. So gently pushing that left hip forward, melting the shoulders down away from your ears. Breathing deeply here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're now going to lift the left arm, raise it up toward the ceiling, and then just gently fold over, just a little bend here over to the right side. Breathing deeply here, sinking into that stretch a little bit more deeply for 3 and 2 and 1. Bring your hands on either side of your foot. Step your knee back, step your foot back, curl your toes, and return to your downward dog. Stretching and lengthening up through the tailbone. Breathing deeply here, flattening out the upper back. Lift that tailbone a little higher. And now step your left foot between your hands. Lower your right knee, flatten your right foot. Interlace those fingers and take them onto the left thigh. We're just gently bringing that right hip flexor forward, that right hip forward so we can feel it into the right hip flexor. Being sure that we're not letting those shoulders hunch up by the ears. The neck is nice and long, and we're envisioning the crown of our head lifting and lengthening up toward the ceiling. From here, we can take our right hand up, reach those fingertips for the ceiling, and just bend gently to the left. Breathing and stretching in through the nose and out through the mouth, sinking a little bit more deeply into the stretch for 3 and 2 and 1. Bring both hands down on the mat, bring both knees down on the mat, and bring yourself gently into a kneeling position. Bring the feet forward on the floor. And just take your band with you if you're using one so that it's handy. We're going to start off without the band. We're going to bring both knees in toward the chest and hug them in close. Now I want you to keep your tailbone connected with the floor here and just hug the knees in a little bit closer. Gentle tuck to the chin. Feeling the stretch run up through the spine. And we're just going to gently rock from side to side here, massaging the low back on the mat. Relaxing those shoulders. Pressing the lower back down onto the floor for 3 and 2 and 1. Come back to center. Take your right hand around the outside of your right foot, left hand around the outside of your left foot, coming into happy baby. So flexing the feet here. Gently pulling down on the feet, drawing the knees in toward the armpits. And again, challenge yourself by trying to connect your low back with the mat, feeling that stretch deep into the lumbar spine. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 and 2 and 1. Let go of your feet, soften both feet down onto the floor, knees are bent. We're going to extend the left leg out long and hug the right knee in toward the chest. So really stretch your left leg long and hug that knee in as closely toward the chest as you can. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, enjoying the stretch. From here, we're going to lower the right arm down and use the left hand to draw the knee over to the left side of the body. Now try to keep both shoulders in contact with the mat here. If it feels comfortable, release the leg and cactus the arms. Palms facing up toward the ceiling. Shoulders in contact with the mat. As we just let the weight of that right leg draw the knee down closer toward the floor, deepening the stretch for 3 and 2 and 1. Come back to center. Straighten out the right leg. Hug the left knee in toward the chest. Hug it in close. Point and lengthen through that right leg. Hug it in as close to the chest as you can, as is comfortable. And now lower your left hand. Use your right hand to draw that knee across the body, keeping both shoulders in contact with the floor. Getting a nice spinal twist here. Cactus the arms if that feels comfortable. Palms facing up toward the ceiling. Elbows are bent. Again, just letting the weight of that left leg draw that knee and shin closer toward the floor, deepening the stretch. For 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Nicely done. Now from here, bring your leg back to center and straighten both legs out long. If you have a band, you're going to take it in your hands now. We're going to bring that right knee back in toward the chest. If you have a band, you're placing the band on the bottom of the foot. If you're not using a band, you're going to be holding the back of your calf or your thigh for this stretch. So band or no band, we want the leg to be perfectly straight here. The foot is flexed, the toes are pulling toward the shin. That's going to really help you to feel the stretch into the calf as well as the hamstring. If you're lower here to start off with, or even here, that's fine. Just really make sure you're lengthening out through that heel. Shoulders are relaxed. We're going to breathe deeply here with the straight leg, and as we exhale, we're going to ease a little bit more into it by drawing that leg just a bit closer in toward the chest and holding it at that maximum point of stretch, breathing deeply into it, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale and exhale. Feeling that stretch run all the way up the back of the leg. If it's more comfortable for you, you can bend that left knee. I want you to take a deep inhale here and exhale. Draw that leg in a little bit closer towards you, maintaining straight leg, really lengthening through that heel, deepening the stretch as much as possible. Breathe into it. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now from here, we're going to bend the knee and gently release the stretch, putting the right foot down on the floor, bringing the left foot in. Knee comes in toward the chest. We're either holding onto the calf or thigh or placing that band around the bottom of the foot. Foot is flexed, toes are drawing toward the shin. Find that maximum point of stretch where you can still keep your legs straight. Gentle tuck to the chin so we're not straining the neck. Breathing into it. Flex the foot a little bit more if you can to feel it even more deeply into that calf. Leg can be bent, opposite leg can be bent or straight. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, slowly use that breath to draw that leg in a little bit closer toward the chest. Deepening the stretch, gently pushing that range of flexibility. Holding it here, maintaining the straightness of the leg. Relax those shoulders down away from your ears. Deep inhale. And exhale a little bit further. Push that range of flexibility that bit further. Breathing deeply here for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Bend at the knee and release your hand or your band. We're going to take the hands under the knees and just roll gently up to a seated position. When you reach this position, I'd like you to get into an all fours. So we're going to bring the wrists below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. Now from here, I'd like you to move from a neutral spine to a curved spine by pulling your belly button in and rounding, lifting the center of the spine up toward the ceiling, creating a nice exaggerated arc, and then arching the spine, dropping the belly, and rolling the shoulders down away from the ears. Good. Inhale, push the mat away.
Dropping the crown of the head, lifting your belly button as you round the spine, and then breathe it out to arch and roll those shoulders down and back. Let's take a few more of those. Inhale to round, and exhale to arch. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe all the air out. Good. Bring the spine back into neutral. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Then fold your right leg under the body, coming into pigeon pose. And lower down, resting your forehead on your forearms. Opening in that hip. Relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Bring yourself back up. Step both feet back, and then fold the opposite leg under the body, lengthening, and then folding. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really relax into it. For 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Gently lift yourself up. Come into a cross-legged position facing me. Lift your shoulders up by your ears. Inhale, and exhale, roll them down and back. Let's take 2 more. Lift and melt any tension in the shoulders away. Last one, lift and lower. Hands come to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for tonight, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that stretch. I hope it relaxed you, and I hope you have a wonderful, restful sleep. I'll see you next time.